to my show, and I've actually found you, well, to become even more compelling over the years. Does that make sense?
Well, I think maybe I've just gotten a little older and I'm drinking less. Does that help?
Well, it's always helped me. Now, the book is the Gutfeld Monologues, Classic Rants from the Five. But you not only have your monologues in here, you critique several of your monologues, correct?
Yeah, because believe it or not, I've gotten a few things wrong, and times have changed. And I mean, especially in this Trump era, so many of the things that I wrote about turned out to be incorrect. And I feel like I have to be honest. If I'm doing an anthology, I can't just run this stuff and pretend. Or I could choose all the ones that were correct and leave out the ones I screwed up, but I didn't think that would be right. So I actually had I brought in the ones I was wrong about, and I added commentary and how things have changed since then. So it's two books, basically.
You've been on. How long's the Five been around?
7 years. It started. Yeah, it had its 7th birthday, I think, last week.
And your own show, how long has that been around?
I think that's been 3 years.
And by the way, it is a great show. I really enjoy it. It really is a good show.
It's a lot of fun.
7 years, that's a lot of monologues. How many monologues have you written?
If you did 200, I would say 200 a year, at least 1,000, maybe four. So it used to be 1,000 and 1,400.
Is it hard to come up with something new every day?
Yeah, it is. But I wake up every morning and I let somebody, and a producer will send me an idea, and I just start writing. And it's not that bad. As long as you have an idea, everything's great. And you don't even have to like the idea. As long as, as long as there's a little bit of meat on that bone, I can do something with it. But it's sometimes it's like, what do I do? But with Trump, every day you have something. Every
that's
day.
True.
It's like, what the Trump presidency like? It's like when you buy a roast chicken on Sunday and you can keep picking at it all week. That's what it is.
Or for me, it's like McDonald's, and you can just keep eating the French fries. But anyway, the Gutfeld Monologues, Classic Rants from the Five. Do you enjoy doing the Five? It seems like you do.
I love it. It's homeroom.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me. And it's weird because it took me a long time to find something that is exactly like I was doing in high school, which was sitting there and basically being a cut-up and teasing people and getting bored and getting annoyed. That's me in homeroom, and that's 40 years later, I'm doing exactly the same thing. That's crazy.
And you can actually tell, or at least I think I can tell, who gets along with whom better than the one or the other, and who's annoying to whom, that sort of thing.
Yes. Some people, if you're perceptive, you can tell when, yes.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
And Juan Williams.
Yes. Yeah.
You get along with Juan Williams? He seems like a nice guy, even though he's quite left-wing.
Yeah, he is a nice guy. He's very thoughtful. But I always say that if you're going to have a Bond film, you need a Bond villain, or it's going to be really boring. So Juan is kind of like you got to have an arch nemesis, or it's going to get really bored. Also, he's pretty aggressive and tough, so that helps you kind of hone your arguments a little better. I mean, I got to be prepared. I have to be really prepared to go up against him.
Now, let me ask you this about your show, and we'll get back to your book. The big guy, his name is Titus, is that right? Tyrus?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I knew it was Tyrus. He's really funny in his own way, if you really listen to what the gentleman has to say. How did you find him?
He's a natural comedian. He wrote to me. A lot of the people I've hired are people that have written to me out of the blue. And
so everybody out there, write to Greg Gutfeld. There's millions of them. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. But that's how I hired, Andy Levy at Red Eye, and also I hired this other kid just a couple of months ago. And Tyrus emailed me. He was a professional wrestler, and he's in kind of an actor now. He's in a few movies. But he said, "Hey, I watch your show. I think I'd be a good guest." And I had him on, and the first show he just killed it. And then when I had a co-host leave, and I thought, wow, that guy, this would be a great addition, Mm-hmm. And he certainly is. He's a natural comedian and an actor, a pretty good actor too.
I see you have a special chair for him. He's so big.
I know. We got the Archie Bunker chair. You know, he can recline. I mean, when we brought that out, he actually cried.
Really?
Yes. He's a big softie.
Yeah. Let's get back to your book, monologues.
Sure.
Do you have a couple of favorite monologues, or is that asking too much? Since you've written so many.
There's one I did a lot on terror, because during that period there was so much stuff going on with ISIS, and everybody was. I hated the time during the Obama administration because all they focused on was climate change, and there were times when he said that climate change trumped terror, and it just drove me nuts. So I did a lot of monologues on that, including something called Terror Week, which was, we have this thing called Shark Week. We should have Terror Week, where every day we focus on a different terrorist or a different group, because we're not. And it seems like a long time ago, because it seems like we've made so much progress with ISIS. But I know there's going to be a new, permutation of ISIS coming at some point. But I like that. I also love anything about Hollywood and pop culture, and I have a whole chapter on that. There's a lot of stuff on identity politics. It's weird. If you go through the book, you'll find all the things that kind of culminated in 2016. The first chapter is identity politics. Then there's Law and Order, which is all about how the police were portrayed in the media. Not just about the police brutality, but how they made police brutality the system and not the bug whenever you turned on CNN. And a lot of this stuff, I think, kind of came to fruition in 2016. People were tired of hearing that cops were bad and our military was terrible and climate change is more important than terror. And I think, and that, everybody is an oppressor unless you're oppressed. There was all this, I think all of it kind of came to a head in the election. That's my theory.
Well, I think you self-identify as a libertarian, and yet some of the positions you take, including some you just mentioned here, they're not typical libertarian positions.
Right.
In other words, when it comes to terrorism and law enforcement and so forth. Is that right?
I would agree completely, and I get into certain debates with libertarians. I say that I believe that freedom and security are not diametrically opposed, that they're like siblings or they're like a married couple. They're like hand in hand. In order to have freedom, you have to have security. In order to have security, you have to have freedom. And some of the least secure places in the world are also the least free. If you look at like Somalia, you can do whatever you want there, but you'll also die there. So there is a relationship between security allowing you to do the things you want. So a lot of people think I have terror on the brain, the same way. And I do believe that. Maybe I do. Maybe I think about it the way people think about climate change, a little bit too much. So I think that's where my libertarian ends. Or maybe I'm such a libertarian that I want to protect it. I want it domed.
Well, no, you're right. You want to protect the civil society, and without a civil society, it all goes to hell. Now, let me ask you
exactly.
This. You travel. People recognize you. How do people treat you? Pretty well?
It's interesting about Fox, and maybe you know this too. If they don't like you, they don't know you. But if they like you, they love you. So I can pretty much glide through any place in town, and no one bothers me. But if they know who I am, it's like it's the greatest. And they're like, it's, why? Because with you and with Fox, it's about a relationship. It's not about a network. It's about they think that they know you and they trust you. It's like CNN is just a network, but Fox News is a relationship.
That's a great way to put it.
And
I hadn't thought of that.
Well, it's weird. It's like, and you know this, that when people come up and they talk to you, they know you. They feel like they know you. And it's such an amazing thing. And then I always respond like I know them. I always feel like with a lot of the viewers, I'm like their kid in a way. And I'm not. I might be their age, but they see me as kind of a little brat.
Well, I want to tell you something, and I want to tell you something on the air in front of my listeners. I've been tough on you in the past.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to tell you something. I really enjoy watching you and listening to you more and more and more. I was wrong about you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But I think that I think probably one of the reasons why you were maybe harder on me in the past was because I think you also could sense when some of my decisions were more emotional than rational, I guess. And I think I've had to adjust a lot of my perceptions since Trump, especially, to start separating words from deeds is like the most important. That's the most important thing I think I've learned, is that words aren't deeds, and to control my moods, so that, like, a lot of times I would get angry.
Yeah, well, you can teach me how to do that, because I haven't figured that out yet.
But it's funny. The thing is, it's like that's when you get angry about something and you don't know why. And that's, I think you see that, you might have seen that a lot on the 5. And a lot of it was, maybe it's personality clashes and things like that. But I've learned to step up, step back, step out. I think I'm less ideological than I have been in the past. I think that might help. I don't know. I don't have a litmus test anymore. I'm not much of a team sport person. I think that could help. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what. You're very unique. I find you very fascinating, very intelligent. The book is great. The Gutfeld Monologues, Classic Rants from the 5. And it's more than that. He self-critiques these past monologues. I want to encourage you folks to go out and get it. You're going to enjoy it a whole lot. Get it on Amazon.com. My social sites, Mark Levin, Facebook. What the hell is it? Mark Levin Show Facebook, Mark Levin Show Twitter. I got so many Mark Levin, this, that, and the other. But folks, go there. It's online. We'll link right to it. And I want to wish you the best of luck with this.
Thank you, sir. This was a pleasure, and I'm a big fan. So this was
likewise.
Great.
All right. God bless. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
I'll tell you what. It's a very good book. It really is. It's a lot of fun to read this book. And I want to strongly encourage you to get it. And you're going to like it, too. If you like the 5, if you like Gutfeld. And I said exactly what I think. Those of you who listen to this program over the years, you know I was tough on him. I'm tough on some people, but I've really come to like him. I don't know him, but I've come to like him. Because I think a lot of the stuff he says is really good. So check it out. Gutfeld Monologues, Classic Rants from the 5. I know you're going to like it. I'm enjoying it. I'm still reading.